Good morning, everyone. I hope you're all doing great. I have wonderful news for you today. I finally managed to make my really old laptop work with the external webcam. So I think we shouldn't be suffering any, world trembling, the phone is falling over kind of stuff. So yeah, that is like great, amazing news. Some of the news is that I've been babysitting the Beckett conference for the last 3 days, and I'm absolutely fucking knackered. So yeah, I don't know what to expect out of myself today, really. Yeah, happy Workers' Day. Today is a day in which we celebrate that in 2021 we still have to fight against capitalism destroying the planet, not being able to afford a house, having to work 3 jobs in order to afford rent, etc. So yay, hooray! We abolished child labor in the Western world by hiring it out to other countries. Anyway, that's for the political side of things today, I suppose. For the painterly side of things, we are going to be, I don't know if you can see it, yeah, you can see that's a self-portrait that I took the other day. What we are going to do today, well, what I'm going to do, I don't know what you're going to do, I don't know if you're painting by numbers, I hope some of you are. Hi Matt! I hope you're painting by numbers today. Is Pam joining us? Is she going to be doing, tapestry? I was going to say crochet, but I knew that wasn't the right thing. Anyway, as I was saying, we're going to be working on an underpainting today. And what is an underpainting, you might ask? An underpainting is in kind of like the classical training when it comes to painting, oil painting. An underpainting is essentially sort of like a value study that you do under the actual painting. So it's like a first step to kind of like help you figure out where the lights and the shadows are going to be, how are you going to be building up those volumes, etc., etc. You can make really easy, like very rough underpaintings, or you can do like really, really detailed underpaintings. I'll leave a few links down below later with like examples to both. And this was inspired mainly by, I've been rereading what's it called? It's a book by Juliette Ariestes, and it's like lessons in classical painting or something like that. And essentially what she does is she takes you through the whole kind of like process of classical oil painting. When we talk about classical oil painting, I believe, please do feel free to correct me if I am wrong, we're talking about mid-19th century to mid-20th century sort of painting techniques using oil paints. So I have never done an underpainting before because I'm not classically trained when it comes to painting, oil painting, that is. So I have a diploma in illustration and I've been painting for many, many years, and I did go to painting classes, but like we discussed the other day, in the Basque country we are really much more about, or general painting academia is much more about Impressionism, Cubism, the early 20th century vanguards, than it is about like, in Madrid where the Complutense is like really, really into classical painting. Excellent! I'm very happy that you two are here, and I'm very happy that Pam will be joining us. So the technique that we're going to be using today, it's called a wipeout underpainting. And one of the reasons why I chose to do this today was A, because I want to start a new self-portrait, and B, because I feel like this would be like a nice chill way to spend the morning, because I'm fucking knackered and like I'm really, really fucking tired. So, I figured it sounds like fun. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by sketching out the self-portrait here, and then we're going to apply a layer of, I think this is raw umber. No, this is burnt sienna. So yeah, we're going to be applying burnt sienna. You can do underpaintings with any color that you'd like. Usually raw umber or burnt sienna are used. So I grabbed my burnt sienna because I couldn't find my raw umber, I believe. So yeah, essentially what you do is you put on a very thin layer of paint, and then you like wipe it off with your cloth. And you can also wipe it off with a very clean paintbrush, or we'll get into the nitty-gritty details. And then you can use titanium white to bring up the highlights at the end. And you can also reapply a little bit more burnt umber or raw sienna, whatever you're using, to kind of like deepen those shadows. But yeah, anyway, let's go for it, shall we? Yeah, this is not a good placement for this bottle, is it? Let me see if I can put it anywhere else. As we've often talked about, I'm fairly constrained for space. Yeah, that works. Okay. So, yeah, I wanted to talk today about a little bit, in general, about like maybe professionalism and, in general, kind of like working under capitalism and stuff, and all that good stuff. Because it's Workers' Day. By the way, if you want to join, there are plenty you want or can join. There are plenty of street demonstrations going on to kill the bill. So yeah, do look that up if you're on Twitter and you're on the UK, because that's really fucking important. Because they are trying to get rid of our right to protest, and I cannot tell you today, Workers' Rights Day, how fucking important that is. Because when you don't have the right to protest, it turns out that cops can kill you, because cops can kill you at any point, really. It's not like a big deal for them. But it turns out that it's even easier for them to kill you when you're protesting, and we don't want that. We want to be able to protest. So yeah. I'm kind of like side eye in the chat every once in a while. Yeah. Anyway, I hope you kind of like the new camera setup. I'm trying to bring the actual camera closer and closer to the canvas, but we'll see how that goes. By the way, you probably realized that my sketching process is very chaotic. Yeah, I hope you appreciate that. Especially when I'm kind of dealing with directly sketching on the canvas, I want to make sure that I have some of the proportions right, but without filling the canvas too much, because then that's going to be a fucking pain in the ass to paint over later. Although, since we're doing an underpainting today, maybe it will be different. We'll see. But yeah, underpaintings, what a thing. So yeah, anyway, professionalism and shit. I think that we have to talk about this, because it's kind of like one of the epidemics of the professional and working world, isn't it? That if you don't look a certain way, which is kind of white and very polished. Pardon me for using such word. Hola, duende. Yeah, so anyway, if you don't act and present as a professional person, it turns out that you're not considered as valid as people who present as such, and it might as well be that your work is not taken as seriously as those people who do present in that particular way. So yeah, that is not cool at all. And I was reading, I think it was this morning or yesterday, someone saying, I hope we all get rid of professionalism soon, or this year or something like that, because I really want to get an egg tattoo sometime soon, or in the next 8 years, something like that. And that really, it sprang to mind this conversation that I was having with my aunt when I think I must have been 19 or something like that. And most of my tattoos I got done between my 17th and 19th year of existence. So, they are, I was pretty young when I got them, and everyone was like, oh, you're marking yourself for life, blah, blah, blah. You will, you're going to regret that. You will want to remove them all, blah, blah, blah. Funny thing is, I do want to remove some of them, for completely different reasons to what these people actually presented to me. Yeah, whatever. So yeah, and I was having this conversation with her about what I wanted to do with my professional future. Was I going to go to university? What was happening? And she was like, because, you have to go to university and you have to get your skills in order, because no one's going to hire you, like, for an unskilled job, because you don't have a professional appearance, because you have tattoos in your neck. And professionalism and shit, yeah. Oh, thank you guys, you're lovely. So yeah, she was like, yeah, you have to, like, you're not gonna make it in this life if you don't get skills to make up for your appearance. Which, I love her. I love her to pieces. She's been supporting me throughout most of my adult life. Without her, I wouldn't be where I am. But she's a product of her time. Being a product of her time doesn't mean that, she's transphobic or homophobic or whatever. But we've definitely done a lot of work together when it comes to, expectations and societal norms and stuff. And she's changed her thinking, like, a lot, since I was a teenager. But yeah, anyway, I digress. So, and I had never thought back to that conversation, really, until I read that tweet the other day, and I was like, yeah, fuck that shit. So, for example, I don't know if you know this, but in Spain, if I am not mistaken, this might have changed because I haven't looked for a job at McDonald's for 6 or 7 years. But if you want to get hired at fast food joints, such as, big names like McDonald's, Burger King, KFC, whatever. And again, this might have changed in the last few years, but 7 or 8 years ago, you couldn't get hired if you had tattoos, which, bullshit. Again, if you had visible tattoos. So again, since one of my tattoos is on my neck, as you can all probably see, I don't know if is it this side or that side? It's one of the, I always forget where it is. So yeah, it turns out that it would be very hard for me to make a break in the working industry, so to speak, with an unskilled labor job, because it would be very hard for me to get hired and if I got hired, to get promoted. So my aunt made it clear that, and again, my use of unskilled labor, everyone's like, oh my god, flipping burgers, everyone can do that. No. Like, working 8 hours a day or more in a fucking kitchen with all the heat, cooking all the things, and dealing with fucking shitty customers, that's not unskilled. But, for the purposes of this conversation, and given that is a term that a lot of people use, unskilled labor. So yeah, it was made pretty clear to me that if I had to make up for my looks, I had to make up for the fact that I had huge breasts. I had to make up for the fact that I had visible tattoos. I had to make up for the fact that my head was half shaven. And yeah, so that was a thing that happened. That was a thing that happened when I was like 19 or so. And it kind of like, I suppose it in a way I never remembered, but it also never left me. And one of the reasons why I wanted to move to the UK was because I knew that things here were slightly different. And I think it's, of course, like, as usual, it's different for white people, not necessarily different for black people or people who look less white. So yeah, take that with a grain of salt. But me, in my naivete, I decided to move to the UK, and one of the reasons why I decided to move here was because I thought I might have a better chance at finding jobs that were related to what I wanted to do with my life, because people here were less off account when it came to having tattoos when you're white. So yeah, I don't know if you knew that about Spain, but now you know. So this kind of like brings the conversation back to like professionalism and, looking professional, presenting in a professional way. How kind of like, I really want this to be more, yeah, that's a nice big flat skirt. Yeah, like Matt says, it's not unskilled labor, it's badly paid labor. You definitely need a lot of skills to be able to do that. But yeah, anyway, So I moved here, and things were different. Like I got hired at a fairly conservative place at which I still work and whose name I shall not mention in public. Yeah, again, there's a whole kind of like conservative wave coming for us, so, brace yourselves. But yeah, so I moved here and I got hired at a fairly conservative place, even with my tattoos and my I don't give a fuck demeanor. And, that is something that would have never happened in Spain. As a matter of fact, in Spain, I mostly worked as a freelance because people wouldn't hire me. And, in general, kind of like laboring conditions in Spain are quite shitty. And another reason why I moved here to the UK was because the job market and the economy, even with the worst Brexit predictions, was going to be better than the one in Spain. So I jumped boat like the rat that I am. So yeah, reasons why you move. And I've also this is quite shameful in a way, I suppose, but I've been pretty much in love with like a lot of things in British culture since I was a kid, and I've always wanted to live in the UK. But yeah, going back to like presenting a professional image and professionalism and professionalization, a lot of the conversation that I've had during my lifetime about professionalization and kind of like getting certificates and getting degrees has been about something that I find it's very, very similar to the way that a guild would approach a particular craft. So, for example, when it comes to graphic design and illustration and all these things, oh, that's a fucking gigantic hand, man. Where's my... Oh, there we go. So, yeah. See how I move my table. Anyway, so again, most of the conversation that I always heard about like professionalization, etc., coming from a graphic design and illustration and artistry point of view, has been about our whole market is being kind of like invaded by people who don't really know what they're doing. We have to force people to get a degree in order to be able to do this job, because that means that people who did get a degree now are not getting paid well enough, because these people who are now entering or like swamping our kind of like corner of the market are charging less, etc., etc. Hi Pam, hi Sego. Oh no, don't feel sorry for being late. You can jump in and out of this as you see fit. It's all good. I just love hanging out here with you guys, and it's all in good fun, so it's good. A tidy and you couldn't find anything. That happens to me a lot. I've been tidying up my t-shirts and stuff this morning, and I'm pretty fucking sure that the next time I want to find a fucking t-shirt, guess who's not gonna find anything? So yeah, like I was saying, a lot of what the discourse around professionalization, certificates, kind of like being professional. Anytime I've heard that conversation happening in kind of like around me, if you wish, it has been about defending a particular craft against worse working conditions, but also a perceived threat of unskilled laborers swamping the market. Which, back in the day, I was really for. Thankfully, we all grow, change, and learn, and I am no longer for that kind of shit. So, yeah. It's like, no. When your market is getting swamped by people who have not studied a particular discipline and or people who are not doing a good job and they're doing it cheaply, because I do think that a lot of graphic design nowadays is absolute rubbish, and that is a problem for many anthropological reasons that I will not discuss today. Maybe I will, not right now. So I think that is a problem, but that's not a problem with unskilled labor. That is a problem with our whole culture treating graphic design, the arts, and by extension humanities, as a nice to have and not a must have. We constantly, culturally speaking, depreciate all these things. So of course, when it comes to paying someone to do them, the cheaper you can do it, the better, right? Exactly. How else could you sell all those very expensive degrees if you didn't tell people that you need to be professional? Because if you are not professional, then you're not one of us. And again, it all goes back to this kind of like guild mindset. So yeah, essentially, that's kind of that's the context that I come from when we're talking about professionalism. So yeah, that is a bunch of bollocks, in my uneducated opinion. No, that's a lie. I'm very highly educated. But I think it's very important that you're skilled. I think that is very important that you continue to improve your learning. I think it's very important that you're allowed time, space, and resources in order to continue developing your craft, whatever your craft is. I don't care if you're a doctor, I don't care if you're a lawyer, I don't care if you're an artist or an engineer, whatever it is. Whatever thing you want to pursue in life, you should be able to, and you should be able to be given the resources to do so. Obviously, if you're poor, this ain't gonna happen. Which sort of, explains why very badly unskilled labor is kind of like something always performed by poor people. But, like that's a whole conversation. We can continue talking about that later. Sorry, I have to get on with drawing these fingers, so we are never going to get out of here. So, yeah, essentially, this whole idea that the arts industry or the graphic design industry is under attack by, very bad designers who have never studied graphic design. Oh my god. Look, first of all, having studied or not studied something, it's not directly related to holding a degree in that. You may know a lot of stuff about a particular subject without having a certification to prove it. And this might as well be because, surprise, surprise, most certifications come with a price point. And also with the ability to attend a certain physical school for a number of hours per week. Which, again, if you are poor, disabled, a mother, you have caring responsibilities, you have mental health problems because you've been traumatized. Like, there's a plethora of reasons why regular education might not work for you. And there is a plethora of reasons why flexible education might. And flexible education comes, and informal education comes in the form of blogs, YouTube videos, the internet in general, picking up books in your library. Like, there are so many things and so many ways in which you can learn that do not include having to go and spend 30 to 60 hours per week going to school. So why are we still holding on to this idea that if you don't have a certificate, you're not good enough for a craft? Oh yeah, when you quit a degree, that is a whole conversation. And yeah, like Pam says, like, anything beautiful and useful is undervalued. She cannot get a pay raise for her developers unless they do less development and more management, which is fucking rubbish. Also, one of these days, I really want to talk, or I don't know if I want to talk or want to write about this. Maybe I want to write about this. I really want to kind of like analyze how management is essentially the masculinization of female work, because please don't come here and tell me that housewives don't do a shitload of management. But yeah, besides the point. So yeah, I think it's very, very important that from within and inside kind of like the art industry, this is kind of like twofold, because on one hand I want to make art as accessible both as a hobby and as a career choice, and any mixture between the two, because we live in late capitalism, and if you don't monetize your hobbies, wow, you must be pretty fucking rich. So, whatever you decide to do with your art, I want to give you access to that, and I want to widen access to it. And there's like several ways to go about this. One is stop cutting fucking funding to GCSEs and other kind of like, kids' education in arts and humanities. Stop doing that. That's a very fascist thing to do. So, yeah, don't do that. But the other one is, if we stop telling people that you have to go to art school to, like, be an artist, which, that's such bullshit. I'm really sorry. There is a lot of things that you learn in art school. I think that going to art school can be a valuable experience. But when we're talking about, a situation like an economical situation such as the US, in which the student debt is life shattering, no, don't go to art. Like, if you can't afford it, if you can't pay for it, then it shouldn't be mandatory. It shouldn't be. What the fuck? Like, you cannot make these awkward access rules in which you say to people, oh yeah, if you don't go to art school, you're not a real artist. And then you cannot make art school only for the rich and privileged. That is, not cool, man, not cool. I'm gonna leave this hand because this is going to need, as you can see, a shitload of work. So, yeah. Oh boy. I hate drawing tiny hands. I find with hands, and excuse me for the sudden change of subject, that if you start them off right, they will go right. The minute you start them off wrong, boy, that hand ain't never gonna look good. So yeah, anyway, excuse my rambling about hands and shit. Yeah. It's absolute bollocks, if you ask me. So I do think that going to school can be very useful. I think that going to school can make, because going to school, it's not only about the subjects that you learn. It's about mostly networking, finding a community, finding people with similar interests. It's a life-shaping experience for a reason. But when you make this life-shaping experience something that only people with a very particular economic and health and race and, background can access, like, that is a huge problem. And also if you do that, then you don't get to be mad when people who cannot afford that are trying to break into your market. Like, that, of course they are trying to break into your fucking market without a qualification. You didn't allow them to get one. What the fuck? So yeah, if you're not going to make school, university, blah blah blah, accessible for everyone, I'm sorry, honey, but you don't get to be mad when unqualified people try to break into your market. Because they couldn't go to school. So stop getting mad. So yeah, that's for one. Oh yeah, about flexible learning. So I think I'm such a pro flexible learning person because most of my adult life, my education has been online, and that kind of like does change your view of the world. Finding useful content, God, it's so dependent on the field that you're trying to research. So if you're trying to do proper academic research, for example, I would say Google Scholar is almost unparalleled. And I will leave the website that allows you to see papers if you're not affiliated to a university below. Because one of the main problems that you may have if you're not affiliated with any university and you're trying to do meaningful research is that you may have to pay for access to certain papers because you're not affiliated with a university, thus you do not have a Shibola login, thus you cannot access unpublished papers or libraries that hold different volumes. For example, for the Beckett conference, and David Randall, who's amazing, ended up sending this to me, but I had to go into EBO, which is the really old English book repository. That's not the name, by the way. Don't quote me on that, but that's essentially what it is. So I had to go on that, and I had to look for a book. And if I hadn't been affiliated with a university, it would have been even harder to find a login. So there is like a whole, people talk about the dark web, but I don't think we talk enough about the dark academia web. Like, and by this I do not mean the aesthetic dark academia. I'm very for that. I mean literally how hard it is to access academic papers if you're not affiliated with a university, either as a student, thus either you have a grant or you're paying for it, or as a faculty member. So let's say that you finished your studies and you didn't manage to find a job, but you would like to continue pursuing your academic interests, maybe on the side of your day job or whatever. If you don't have a job at a university, or if you're not signed up with a university for a course, you won't be able to access many of these resources. But sorry for the sidetracking. Back to where the fuck do you actually find good content. What I would do is I would follow the social media of people who do things similar to what you want to learn how to do, because they are often going to, especially if they're kind of like educators, if they do community outreach as part of their social media presence kind of thing, they will be able to direct you in or kind of like point you in the general direction of good resources. Libraries are amazing places, and once you manage to get like a book list, a bibliography of what you want to do, just go to your local library searching system and see if they can get some of the books for you. But yeah, I would say academia.edu has a surprising amount of crap, okay? But it also has a surprising amount of really decent papers and abstracts, and there is a lot of members of a lot of different academic communities who are very, very committed to making knowledge more accessible, and they often publish their part of a book on academia. So, that's great. That's kind of like another place that you can go to. Yes, I think Pam has hit the nail on the head with that one. Learning, I think, is by nature an informal experience. But under capitalism, we've chosen to make it a very formal, rigid one. And, she says the UK very conservative government wants to turn us all into factory workers, which is kind of true. And I mean, look at that wonderful get a job in tech campaign. So yeah, essentially, it's they want people who won't think. I suppose it's the short answer to that, which is why learning it's harder, especially artistic disciplines. It's harder and harder, and only for like the very wealthy elites. And again, humanities sort of goes the same way. Okay, we have hands, people. Ugly hands, but we have them. Also, please note this stupidly immense amount of graphite transfer in my hand, because I'm a dirty painter. The learning as an experience, it's a very gate-kept experience, and I think that one of the reasons why I wanted to do this this, chatting and painting things with you guys as a live stream was because I realized that a lot of there is a lot of great learning content, and for example, New Masters Academy, I think it is about $40 per month, and you have amazing artists, and I'm planning on signing up there myself during the summer. But yeah, it's a good resource if you don't want to spend a lot of money going to art school. That's literally the marketing campaign. But one of the reasons why I wanted to do this live stream was because I felt that there is not a lot of information on oil painting, or how to paint realistically with oils. There's a lot of information on how to paint realistically digitally, and a lot of that information is very, very transferable to oil painting if you know what you're doing. But yeah, essentially I think that making this discipline accessible is really very important, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do this, because certain areas, certain parts of academia are very, very gate kept, and they're usually those very strongly associated with a certain quality. So oil painting, the masters, the big thing, blah blah blah. A lot of that is gate kept because culturally speaking we associate it with high value output, and thus we are like, no, poor people can't do that. What do you mean? That was my very faint try at an English posh accent. That did not go well. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of like share my painting journey with you guys in hopes that you would find that useful. Yeah, and that's the other thing. Like Zico says, like that oil painting gets really scary. I think that I got really good with my digital painting when I started painting with oils. I think that oil painting is, I wish that more people, especially more women, did it, and more trans people too. I'm still trying to find. I want to do this video on like 10 women artists that you need to know. And I don't want to do it until I found out at least, 5 or so that are not super white and super cis. So we get in there. But yeah, like I wanted to demystify oil painting, because it's this, like, you're a real painter when you paint with oils, which that's such bullshit. You're a real painter if you paint with Crayola. I don't give a shit. Neither should you. But I love painting with oils. I think they are a super forgiving medium, and I think they have a lot of mythology around them, around who can use them, who can learn how to use them. And yeah, that's some shit. We don't like that here. So I thought, you know what, let us try and demystify that a little bit, and hopefully, make some new friends along the way. And yeah, that's what we're doing, people. So yeah, again, I think it's, in order to learn where the good resources are, if you want to undertake informal learning on any discipline, you first need to immerse yourself in that community. So for example, if you're interested into classics and academia, get a Twitter account and start following academics. Don't follow Mary Bird. Oh god, that has been a fucking debacle. Oh boy. So yeah, start following people who are into the classics, people who are academics, people who are weekend classic warriors. So people who only do that on the weekends. So yeah, Matt is absolutely right. The rich are very happy to not pay for your artwork while you're alive, and then profit off it once you're dead. So, and Sego says, and this is very true, oil painting feels at the same time extremely natural and really, really awkward. And that ear is wrongly placed. So yeah, absolutely. Oils are... God, they're a weird thing. Yeah, excuse me while I kind of like put my glasses on. Yeah, but you know, I think that we should all have the opportunity to learn how to use them. And you may like them, you may hate them. You may find that acrylics are way more your speed. You may find that wash is so much better for your endeavors. Wow. Yeah, okay. We're not having a good drawing day, are we? You may find that wash is much better for your endeavors. You may find that watercolor is something that you love. But I want to get more people into oil painting because it's fun. And it shouldn't be as scary as we make it up to be. And it's all about, I think that oil painting for me is much more about kind of like going with the flow. And I know that this is sort of weirdly, I think that it's more said about watercolors, but again, we've mentioned this before in this channel. I couldn't relax doing watercolors if my life depended on it. I can't. It's beyond me. I can't do that. I can't. It's like, yeah, no. You're not going where I want you to go. I can't erase my mistakes. I spend a whole time in a state of utter and absolute anxiety. So yeah, watercolors definitely not my thing for relaxing. So yeah, I want to get more people into oil painting, and I think there are not enough people who oil paint as it is, so that's why I wanted to do these videos. Yeah, about acrylics, dude, I just don't like the texture. And yeah, price point is definitely a thing with oils. One of the defining things of the way that I paint, I think, it's my use of oil paint amounts. I think you can see this in like most of my paintings. So if you see that one, which is the one that we did in the live stream last week, you can see, if you know what you're looking for, I suppose, that there is not a lot of oil on top of it. So I don't usually do underpaintings and I usually paint a la prima because I don't like wasting oil paint. And even though I am now in a position in life in which thankfully I can buy as much oil paint as I probably want, I still don't feel comfortable spending that amount, you know? Wow, this is so dirty. Yeah, so I definitely understand the point about, coast and acrylics being far more affordable, because they are absolutely way more affordable than oils will ever be. But I just like the feel of the oils much better. I like that they take longer to dry. I like that you can move them around, and all those things that if I can't do, I get really stressed about. We are doing a terrible underdrawing today, guys. Terrible. Like, the likeness is just, she's not with us today. But yeah, we're just gonna get it to a point where we can kind of sort of deal with it, and we'll see what happens. Like, yeah, it's all fine. It's all good. She tells herself that she struggles to stop. But yeah, anyway, I don't like her face, and it's my face. But again, do you remember what we talked about last week about sticking with it until you're done? Well, I think that's what we're going to be doing today. I think we have to, guys. We have to just stick with it and see where this takes us, because, yeah. I'm gonna make a few more corrections, and then we're going to move on to the hair, and we're going to start the underpainting, because, yeah, I've spent 45 minutes doing a very bad sketch. Welcome. Boy, yeah. And if I was like not lazy artist and I wasn't having a very tired morning, I would absolutely be taking way more time and detail with, what's that? Is it an ear? What are we doing, woman? Yeah, I would be taking way more time with the ear, the hair, blah 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 blah, but we all know I like it messy, don't we? And I can't be asked, so that's what you get. Okay. Yeah, we can live with that. And of course, the mandatory pomegranate in the middle. Because would it be a me painting if we weren't putting a pomegranate in it? No, it wouldn't. Yeah, I do hope that, you know, someday I will grow out of my obsession with pomegranates, but I don't think today is that day. Yeah, I think that, you know, different mediums are definitely something worth keeping in mind, especially if you're starting out or even at a later stage in your career as an artist, whether that career is how you pay the bills or not. Don't move. I'm using linseed oil, by the way, because I need to make sure that the paint that we are going to use to cover the underpainting is not going to stick to it too much. So yeah, you know, I think that experimenting with different mediums is absolutely fine. And it's a lot of fun. Are you enjoying all that moving of the table? I bet that you are. So yeah, essentially when you have a cheap canvas, like I do, I think this one is from The Works. God, I love that stuff. Yeah, when you have a cheap canvas, one of the things that can happen is that the paint will absorb too much into it. And this is another thing, by the way, if you're worried about the cost of oils, acrylics, etc. Always prime your canvases. If you have gesso, just throw a layer on there, and then the paint will get less absorbed in the canvas, and you will get more bang for your buck, essentially. So prepare your services too. Don't be like me. Do not prime your canvases because you forgot that you were going to be doing this today. Don't do that. Yeah, it's very soothing, the kind of like, you know, just essentially rubbing a cloth against the canvas. Yeah. Yeah, anyway, what we're going to be doing today is, like I mentioned at the beginning, a wipeout in underpainting. So essentially what that means is that we're going to be laying a thin-ish amount of burnt umber or raw sienna or whatever the fuck I have on my table, which I don't remember what that is. And then we're going to be removing that with the cloth, and then maybe a pencil if we need to, for example, areas like the hands, the face, blah blah blah. And then by adding more of that color and continuing to remove it, we will be kind of like shaping a tonal underpainting. Yeah, a value study of what we're doing, essentially. And yeah, that's what we're doing today. And then at the end we can use titanium white to add to it. I'm patting so I don't absolutely undo all the work that I've done in her face. My face, the face. Yeah, the pomegranate I don't particularly care about. I also need to decide what we're going to do with this background, because I have no idea. I think probably today we are going to be focusing on underpainting the figure, so me. And then maybe we will do another session and underpaint the background, but we'll see. Because I really want to try and do more of an architectural background this time, because I'm such a lazy bitch when it comes to backgrounds, honestly. Hi! Hola Nere! Yeah, regarding sharing your art with you, I think that would be lovely. If you don't want to, like, we can get a hashtag started if you want to, and we can just do that on Instagram. And if you don't want to go public, well, you could do it as a, like, if you have a, what's it called, a private Twitter or Instagram account, then that's one way to keep it private. And yeah, I think that would be fun. Comment if you have Instagram/Twitter/ whatever. It's so lovely to see you all here. Okay, so for an underpainting, we're going to be using this brush, and I don't know if you can see that. I hope you can see that. Can you see that? Is this? Do I have to do like those makeup videos and like put my hand behind it so the camera will focus? Probably not, because this is an iPhone, guys. This is not an actual camera. So yeah, what we're going to do is we're going to use this fucking destroyed brush, and without thinning the paint, and this is really important, according to our friend Juliet Ariestes. Oh yeah, you can really see how disgusting the brush is, can't you? Yeah, so you don't dilute the paint and you just go for it. So I'm just gonna go for it. This is the first time I've ever done this, so you're here in the, yeah, you're doing this with me, guys. Let's. So apparently, according to her, what you have to do is, well, first of all, probably she wouldn't advise you to hold your canvas, because probably this woman has like a proper easel where you can actually sort of paint, you know. We're not having to worry about that. So yeah, the idea here is that you're going to essentially rub your paint on, and you should still be able to see your drawing underneath. Yeah, I'm freaking out. Yeah, you can still see the drawing. That's fine. That's fine. That's all good. Yeah. Ah, the face. Oh my god, this is always. Oh! Okay, yeah, we're fine. Oh, yeah, that is not a bell. That's not the bell stalling for you. It's my two lamps colliding. Sorry about that. I mean, it's a cathedral coming for me. Okay. No. Yeah, I really need to sort out this very precarious kind of like canvas holding situation that I have. Don't you guys think? I think so. Okay, so apparently another thing that this woman says that it's like really important is to kind of like rub it in until you find a nice tonal consistency across the canvas. Yeah, tell you what, I should have absolutely gone to town way more with the pencil. Oh well. You know, you live and you learn. Well, I'll tell you something. If you've ever, in your life, ever in the life of ever, having one of those people who's deathly scared that the next step's going to cost them their painting, go for this, do this, because I've just had a panic attack and it's fine. I know, Nari, I know. It's sad times we're living in. So yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm just... Oh my god, it works! It works! It's alive! Okay, sorry, I'm really excited. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start kind of like searching for the lights very softly. So, you know, very kind of like haphazardly, how do you say that? Randomly. I'm randomly going to try and start looking for those lights and see where you. Oh my god, guys, this is so exciting! Look at that! She's starting to appear! Oh my god, this is amazing. Guys, you have to try this. If you do oils, you have to do this. Why have I never done this? Oh my god, this is so much fun! I'm sorry, sometimes like artistic and creative processes get me like really excited when I'm trying out like a new technique, and I'm like, oh my god, that's how they do that! And I've always wondered, you know, these beautiful underpaintings that you see in galleries and shit, oh my god, how do you think they do that? Because, you know, it's so organic, it's so kind of like, you know, layered, and this is how you do it. I'm by no means going to claim that I'm doing a very good job at this, but hey, we are learning together. Oh my god, dude, this is rad. I hope that you can kind of like share my joy of the removal of paint. Wow, this is amazing. Oh my god, I'm having so much fun. Look at that shit! Yeah, sorry, I'm not paying any attention to the chat. I'm like fully immersed in the awesome creative process that this is. Yeah, guys, this only takes literally one color, two if you're using white. Go to town, you have to try this. This is amazing. Yeah, I can actually still see the, let me see if I can show you closer to the camera, hopefully. I can still see some of the lines. Hopefully you saw that. I have to work fairly quickly with this because obviously the paint is drying, so I can't like stay here forever. But yeah, oh my god, this is so cool. And it's like different sides of your finger will do different things. I am like, guys, I can't understate how excited I am. This is amazeballs. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to try and get the hands and the face to like a place in which I can continue adding and removing paint. Because they are, so given that this is a value painting, what you want to be very aware of, I think, is so the skin tone with black dress will look much brighter than anything else. I don't know if you can see, if you can pick the photograph. Oh, sorry, my hair is getting in the middle of it. I've just noticed that. So yeah, if you can see, what I'm trying to do is sort of get rid of almost all the paint in the hands and, well, the visible skin areas, so I can go back and maybe add some more, but like, yeah. Sorry about the cataclysms and massive movements. Yeah, this is rad. Okay, I'll let you look closer again. Sorry. Yes, Sego, please do it, and please do share it. If you guys are happy to share the art with a hashtag, I'll share it both on Twitter and Instagram, and yeah, tag me on it, and let's use Clash Needles as a hashtag, and then I get to see what you do. Sorry, I'm kind of like trying to figure out how to show you this because I don't actually see this like 2 minutes later on my computer. So yeah, hopefully you can see that. Come back to life. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I have a fairly stiff and clean brush. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start removing paint this way and hoping that it works. Guys, it does work. Oh my god, this is amazing. Tell you what, it works. I know that I seem like really amazed that it works, but yeah, I didn't think that it for a minute there I thought I had completely, utterly and irrevocably ruined my painting. So yeah. I had a moment of panic there. Okay, let's so, and I also I'm gonna need some more. Yeah, this one will work. I also want to rework some of the darkness again around the hands again, so I have a better silhouette. So essentially what I'm doing is I'm using the raw sienna or burnt umber, whatever it is I'm using, to draw the silhouette of the hands and pray for the best. That's what we're doing. Okay, yeah, oh my god, it actually works. So in between wipes, what I want to do is I want to make sure that my removing paint brush stays clean. The other one doesn't matter because I'm using it to like retrace. Yeah, really honestly, I think that if any of you has any like artsy experience, or if you have some oils, give it a try because this is bonkers. Like, this is how you make all those really nice fucking transitions, isn't it? You know, if I wanted to make this into a clickbait, I would call it, you know, the master's best kept oil painting secret. Because this really is mind-blowing. I'm not wiping this on my pants. I have the cloth down there. I thought I might, you know, let you know. Yeah, boy, this is amazeballs. I think I'm gonna have to use white. I didn't know if I was going to use white today, but I think I'm definitely gonna have to use white for the face, so I can reach like a higher contrast. Yes, use the hashtag, share your art with me, let me know how you're doing. I'd love to see, and especially if you're going to be trying out the underpainting thingamabob, please do. Instagram, Twitter, I'm everywhere. Well, you know, right now I'm at my house, but you know what I mean. Yeah, like, this is great how like it builds. So if I, wow, guys, you're watching me learn the technique live, so I think that hopefully you can sort of see how I'm navigating the learning process. And I think this sort of like goes back to what I always say in these videos, which is give it a go, give it a try, do the thing. The worst thing that can happen is that you have to cover the whole canvas again. That's it. So, oh my god. Yeah, this is going to be a long ass stream, by the way, and I wouldn't blame you if you just left sometime soon. If you have to go get lunch, just do your thing. And I promise I will talk more politics as soon as I have the technique down, because right now my mind is being blown, and that takes a lot of, like, you know, RAM memory and stuff. Yes, I've been doing some linocats. Actually, one of my ideas for one of these streams was perhaps to do one where I was kind of like the inking process of a linocat. I don't know that I would want to do how to do a linocat live, because I think I would get distracted and then I would lose a finger. And I don't want that. I don't think anyone here wants that, hopefully. But yeah, I love linocats. They're amazing. And again, same thing, you work against the dark and you reveal the light. Although I have to say, what I love about this is that I can go back and put some more dark in, which is not something that happens with linocat. With linocat, once you commit, you're committed. That's, yeah, it's gone. Which is, again, both a very good thing for an artistic process and a very terrifying one, if you ask me. God, guys, I hope that you're enjoying seeing me and watching me essentially freak out live about a technique. Like, I really have to show you this. Let's see if you can see it. But can you see that that what's the name? Sleeve. That's the name. Oh, come on, show me how it looks so I can know if you can actually see this shit or not. Okay. One-handed. Yeah, you can see it. So yeah, essentially, look at that detail. Isn't that properly like Renaissance Madonna drapery? It is. I'm in shock. I really am. Cause this is some shit. I've seen some shit in my lifetime, but yeah, this is really something. It's kind of hard. I don't know. This happens to me a lot when I'm doing my own makeup. I'm a mess, and I often forget which one is the blending brush and which one is the applying brush, and I end up with all my brushes dirty. And I think that this is what's it's about to happen to me. Oh, I'm really happy that you guys are enjoying to see me get really, really excited at the discovery of a new technique, because yeah, this is bonkers. Pam, it's so interesting that you did linocat at school. Is it a thing that you guys do here in the UK? I never did linocat at my high school. I did linocat when I was starting to become an illustrator, but that's it. Okay, let's see. How are we going to do this? Yeah, I don't think we do linocat in general in Spain. I don't know. The Spanish people in the chat can maybe comment and let me know if I just really went to very boring schools. Yeah, like I don't have enough capacity. You see, it's just it all goes blah. Guys, this is rad. Like, I don't know that I can express how, because you know, when you've been painting for like a really long time, it's not often that you find new, cool, weird ass techniques that blow your mind, and that's what's happening right now. And God, it feels great. Yes, please, self-portraits, Renaissance styles 2021. That's all we want. Actually, one project that I have in mind, because I watch a lot of like historical costuming YouTube, and they recently did this kind of like challenge thing, and they were all doing Disney princess gowns, but in like different decades and shit. So Karolina Zawrocka, she's a Polish YouTuber. She's amazing. She's great. If you don't know her, you have to go and watch her. I'll link her down below. She did Snow White. I think it was Germany 1400 style. Preach. Amazing, incredible, beautiful, and yeah, it is, yes. So one of my crazy weirdo ideas was to maybe do a series of portraits on them as like Disney princesses, but princesses, not princes. Well, if one of them wants to be a prince, I'm not going to, it's fine, you do you. But yeah, in kind of like the techniques of the era. So if you're doing like the 1400s or the 1500s, what kind of like, maybe I have to do a fresco style painting, so I have to get like a chunk of wall essentially and start mixing paints with egg and shit, and I'm here for that, like very, very here for that. And I think that self-portraits, I say this a lot, but if you have any kind of body image issues, do self-portraits and do them often, because not only is oil paint the Photoshop of history, but also you will learn to appreciate beauty in a different way, and your beauty at that, and maybe things that you hated or that you disliked or that didn't necessarily quite make you happy about your body or your face. I think that it's highly probable that you will find them more interesting, at least if you do self-portraits. So for example, my nose is one of my biggest like points of contention with life. Like I know that people think that I have a really cute nose. I don't see that. But at least via doing self-portraits, I've been able to realize that whilst it might not be the nose that I would design for myself, it's a very interesting nose, and that's great. So yeah, paint yourselves. Dismantle the system, paint yourself. 2020, well, 2021. I refuse to believe that 2020 is over. Please give me back that year. I do not agree. God, what a fucking clusterfuck. Yeah, but like imagine like the 1830s. What was this style then? It was super academicist and kind of like still dragging on from the Regency era, and you'd have all these crazy like Roman-ish backgrounds, and yeah, that has to be amazing. Or painting it Rococo style or whatever. Yes, very, very. And I thought it might make for a nice series of like YouTube videos, not live streams per se. I don't know that I would make them into a live stream, because I think it would be too much effort to live stream that, and I think it would also be like way too long. It would take a really long time to do those portraits, so I don't know that live stream is the option, because then I would be here painting portraits until I'm 50, if I can only do like a couple of hours per week. Look at this sleeve, people. Oh my god. Yes. I'm here for myself doing it. Like, this is so good. I honestly hope that you're enjoying watching me hype myself ridiculously with this new technique. No, right? I don't think it's a thing that happens in schools in Spain. Like, it's like an illustration technique, so we don't do it at school. You do it when you go and get your degree in illustration or whatever you're doing, or when you go study fine arts. Dude, I'm obsessed with this technique. It is so good. Yes, give me more. I I I feel like Leonardo da Vinci. That's how I feel. Yes. Yeah. I mean, I would say that Leonardo ain't got shit on me, but I am not an engineer, so he's got some shit on me. On the other hand, I can't code, and Leonardo can't, so maybe he ain't got shit on me. Yeah. Oh my god, have you seen that new Leonardo series? They've made him heterosexual again! Oh my god, please! Like, bisexual at best, but I think he was really gay. Can we please stop kind of like making historical figures heterosexual just so you can avoid having to film gay scenes if you play them? Like, what the fuck? The Leonardo's Demons, or whatever the fuck that clusterfuck was called, he was also heterosexual. Oh my god, what is wrong with you people? I mean, I don't know if he was really a sexual person, because based on what I've read of him, he seems like a really grumpy man, and he reminds me of some of my really asexual friends. So that's my bet, is that he was ace. Oh, really? I thought he was. I watched the trailer and I was like, no, that's very hetero. Maybe it's not the same series. Is the one that they've launched recently? Because I thought he was really hetero again. And I was like, why can't you make him gay, please? Because I remember that in Leonardo's Demons, whatever, again, that was called, he was like a ladies' man. So yeah, that did not go well with me. Not that I particularly love Leonardo. I find him to be, I mean, not that he's not a good artist, he's a great artist. I just don't particularly care for him. With Leonardo, it happens to me a little bit just like what happens to me with Michelangelo. He was so angry. And I'm really much more interested in other women painters of the era. It's not that I don't consider them to be good artists, it's just I don't care. Okay, well, and then I'll have to rewatch it, because I really did get strong heterosexual vibes out of it, and if there are not, I will have to stand corrected. Thank you, Sega, for letting me know. By the way, I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name right. I am hopeless with French names. So please do forgive me if I am indeed butchering your name time and time again. I hope I'm not. I'm doing my best. But feel free to correct me. I take corrections. I've learned to take corrections with grace. Or so I tell my therapist anyway. Oh my god, guys. So good. Yeah. Do you know another case of TV series historically catfishing me? The Tudors. When I didn't know Henry VIII that was that fat and nasty. Like, what? Like, you see, in Spain, we, like, the history of Henry VIII is something that maybe if you have a very, very dedicated history teacher, they will talk about that a little. But again, he's not one of our kings, so why the fuck should we learn about him? Well, colonialism and stuff. But yeah, we don't learn a lot about Henry VIII. And when I watched The Tudors, I was under the impression that he was this tortured soul who was very attractive. And then, like, I saw his pictures and I read about, like, these 7 wives, and I was like, no! Why would you make a series and make him into this very, very attractive man? Like, not that he wasn't attractive when he was young, because apparently he was, but he wasn't Jonathan Rhys Meyers attractive, I'll tell you that. But, like, not with all his wives, like, and why would you make him into a desirable character anyway? Yeah, I was so confused. I know, like, it's, which series I really love and hate? The Borgias. I love and hate the Borgias because I think that a lot of the costume design is really interesting, but on the other hand, what the actual fuck? How is Jeremy Irons playing a fat short Spanish man. Not that I have anything against fat people. I really like fat people, but Jeremy Irons is not fat, and he didn't get fat for the role. And it's whenever you have a man who had power or was attractive and he was fat, why are you historically slimming him down? Like, oh yeah, woe is me. Oh yeah, no, I live near an auto shop, so it's like an auto repair shop. It's like a garage, and they work on fucking Saturdays and Sundays. They are really dedicated, and I'm fatigued with them, if I'm being quite honest. Yeah, God, Henry's an ass. But yeah, the Borgias is like it had the potential to be such a good series, and then I love Jeremy Irons, but he doesn't make any sense in that role. He doesn't look like him. He doesn't speak like what I don't know what they would have sounded like on that, I don't know, cast a fat actor. It doesn't take that much. Like, it's fine. Fat people were historically relevant. It's okay, guys. Like, God, it's so ridiculous. Oh yeah, I know. I love, like, I think that one of the things I find really both, like, amusing, fascinating, and what the actual fuck is the whole creation of the Protestant church, because Henry wanted to get a divorce and the Pope said no. It's like, wow, that is some shit, Most people, if they can't get a divorce, they would just keep their mistress on the side, and maybe you could have made her child pass as your own, or I'm sure there were some other choices there that you could have made, Henry. But no, because you're Henry VIII and you decided what you're actually gonna do is, no, fuck this shit. I'm gonna create my own church. And then I'm going to murder my wives, but that's another matter entirely. So yeah, he was a prick. And but again, having been raised a Catholic, I really enjoy that level of pettiness against the church. So, I can't totally blame him because of that. But yeah, like, what the actual fuck? There were so many other solutions instead of, like, literally killing people. But that can possibly be said of many, many, many kings. So, I know, it's like a sculpting. I'm in love with it. Oh, I see. So he got gout because he was doing the paleo diet? That is interesting. That's weird. Well, I guess they told him to eat meat because it was more manly to eat meat. Or something? Dude. Tell you what, I love that in every century, with medicine and stuff, we are like, yeah, we know better. Those people in the last century, they had no fucking idea. And then, like, people will come next century and they would be like, what the actual fuck was wrong with you people? I really enjoy that about history. I honestly, one of the reasons why I don't really like that I will die, is because I won't be here in like 200 years to see people shaking their heads at some of the bullshit that we're doing right now. I want to know. Oh my god, this is so good, guys. This is... Oh, yes. I'm enjoying this so much. I hope you are too. I also know that I love that all of you are so knowledgeable about stuff. I really like this about this stream. You're always teaching me new stuff, and that's great. We haven't talked about Bob Ross today. Matt, you will have to raise that point at some point. Guys, look at this wonderful thing. Let me see if I'm actually showing you anything. Yeah. Look at that. Look at that. Sorry, I'm really excited. I think I need like a 2-screen display to actually be able to do this properly with you guys, so I can keep the chat open and actually see whatever what are you guys watching, like what you're seeing, without having to change from one window to the other. Words, English, stop. No, don't go away. But yeah, guys, this is a fascinating technique. Really, it's bonkers. Meat and alcohol, yeah, that's the caveman diet, alright. I mean, not alcohol because that's fermented, but you know what I mean. Caveman in the less strict sense of the word, perhaps. Okay, we're going to have to make a few decisions here, guys. What do we do next? I think I'm gonna continue with the skirt, and because it's essentially like a big mass of darkness, and I can get that sorted out pretty quickly. I've got big hips and I cannot lie. That's just how we roll here. This is a lie because this dress is not as wide in the bottom. It's kind of like it falls down from my hips, but it's a painting, so I can do whatever I want. See, it was a happy little accident. I think it was, I thought it was a big mistake as I was applying it. But I think it's one of those techniques where you just have to trust the technique and where, yeah, like it looks horrible and then it works. Which I think are some of the most scary techniques in art, if I'm being quite honest, because it feels, oh my god, it was so nerve-wracking doing that. But you know, if you don't do these things, then you never learn, and we have to learn to become better painters. So you have to take some risks. Do you know, guys, something I would really like to learn how to do? I would love to learn how to do medieval illuminations, like the actual technique. How do you do that? Because it looks like a lot of fun. I don't know. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's fucking boring and monks hated it. But here we go. That's what I want to do. Let's see. No, don't go away. Don't do that. I'm gonna try something, and I don't know if it's going to work, so bear with me. Yeah, courage. Courage makes it. Or breaks it. Yeah, hell yeah, I'm such a genius. What I'm doing is I'm using some turpentine to remove even more paint. So that way I can get more meaningful highlights in the skin. But what it's going to create is a harsher highlight. So I have to be very careful about that, I think. It works. It's alive. This is so exciting. I feel like I should be talking a lot more about politics and stuff because it's Workers' Day. But again, I'm really, really brain dead, and this is taking like all of my brain capacity to focus in it. So yeah, sorry about that. Guys, look at that. Part of this is me being extremely lazy and not wanting to add titanium white on top of it, and part of it it's because I want to explore the whole range of light and darkness. How much light can you get out of this, essentially? But yeah, also laziness. Thanks, Agawa, for the housekeeping in the chat. Yeah, sorry, Pam, I didn't read that. I was fascinated by my own painting. Yeah, medieval illuminations are, for example, you know, when you're looking at a medieval manuscript and you have the first letter is like illustrated and, well, heavily illuminated. Yeah, that's an illumination. Or the ones like Sego says that include gold leaf, or yeah, any picture in a medieval manuscript. Sego, please correct me if I'm saying this wrong. But yeah, they are so fascinating. My favorite medieval book is the Very Rich Hours of the Duc de Berry, and God, that book is God. It's so amazing what they managed to do. That one is a pretty late book. Like, it's not, you know, the 900s, something like that. But it's got the use of like the aerial perspective. It's absolutely bonkers. Your English is fine, says the migrant whose first language is not English. But yeah. I think perhaps we will mostly leave this hand as it looks like now, because I don't know that there's much else that I can do. Maybe with smaller brush. That's the word I'm looking for. Yeah, because it's, you know, not great detail. But again, it's an understudy, so yeah. I want to do more of the dress. Guys, it's really starting to come to life, don't you think? I'm really into it. Yes, the Book of Kells. Oh god, that book is to die for. Did you know that the only time I've been to Ireland, it was during my 15th birthday, because my school, it was not my school really. I got a grant to go to Ireland for like 2 or 3 weeks to study English, and I ended up staying in Kells, the place where the book was from. But of course the book is kept in the Trinity College, so it was a little bit disappointing, kind of anticlimactic. But again, I was 15, so I was more interested in sneaking into pubs and my caretaker offering me beer. Yeah. I know, you're fascinated by the story of my life. Yeah, I think this is coming along very nicely. What do you guys think? I think the face is going to be a shit show too. No, that's a lot of paint. Okay, let's see. Watch me concentrate as I shape these fingers to look somewhat like mine. Yeah, no, my book of hours is like almost Renaissance, no, Sego? Like, yeah. No. That's like almost at the end, I believe. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. Almost at the end of the books of hours being done by hand. Because the print press Gutenberg had invented the thing and everything was getting cheaper. Yeah. Oh, talking about professionalism and like, perceived quality and stuff. As far as I know, and Sego will be able to give you much better information on this. I'm 100% certain because she's actually someone who studies these things. But there was a whole debate when the printing press came along because, of course, if that meant that now you didn't need a whole monastery full of monks to copy a text. You could do it cheaply, and like there was a lot of cultural outrage because you're essentially changing the meaning of books, and of course this was all about access to culture, really, not the actual meaning of books. Yeah, I've always found that one really interesting. I'm keeping an eye on the chat in case Sego corrects me, so I can correct myself in public again. Okay, this hand is going slightly better. You learn as you go, like they say, or something. I find really interesting like how the different techniques change throughout the ages, and this is because one of my favorite books is The Perspective as La Perspectiva como Forma Simbólica. The Perspective as a Symbolic Shape by Panofsky. I don't know if that's the actual name in English. I will look it up and put it for you in the comments once we're done with the video. Yeah, so that is essentially Panofsky analyzing our conical perspective, which dates from the Renaissance, and is very, very kind of like tied to architecture and the human measure and all these things, very interesting things that were happening in the Renaissance. And he has this whole theory about how Romanesque paintings and a lot of medieval illuminations used gold as the background because of the Platonic theories about ether, and how the kind of like Romanesque style of painting and later the Gothic style of painting, they were not about like people not being able to draw realistically, but about how they saw the world, and thus how that's how they painted it. Yeah, that's another thing too that happened until people started getting lino cuts in the business of printmaking. So yeah, this Pinky has kind of like gotten lost, hasn't she? So yeah, again, people were trying to replicate manuscripts. So what they did was a lot of first editions, and kind of like when the printing press came along, a lot of it was still decorated by hand. But then another revolution got in when they started like incorporating lino cuts. It's not lino cuts. It's printing boot, like boot cabin. And so you would have your press with all your types, and you would have your boot cabin in the middle, and then that fully automated the creation of illustrated manuscripts, so to speak. And yeah, that was a hoot. People were not happy. Okay, we need to remove some paint here. Yeah, I think this is kind of starting to work, maybe perhaps a little bit. I'll tell you something, guys. I have no idea how I'm actually going to be able to accurately paint these hands in such a small portrait. And that kind of worries me about the face too. But, you know, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Sorry, I've stopped the chatter. I'll be right back. I just need to apply this very carefully. And then remove this. Yeah. There we go. And now if we undo that. Perfect, excellent. I'm much happier now. Yes, we're getting there. No worries, Ego, please. Like, just chill. This is something for chilling. Don't feel guilty. Don't feel sorry. It's all fine. It's all good. I'll chat to you later. And yeah, the video is going to be up later anyway. So, you know, whenever you feel like you need some company to read the abstracts, just pop in the video and just have it in the background. It's all good. And same goes for you guys. If you have to leave, you just leave. It's all fine. It's all good. We are all friends here, and honestly, this is taking way longer than what I expected. But also, it's so nice to do a longer stream. And again, please, leave when you have to. And feel free to dip in and out. Yeah. So, I've been thinking a little bit about the... where we are doing these live streams. Are you guys happy with YouTube? Because a lot of people have been like, oh, but why are you not streaming this on Twitch? And I was like, well, because I already have a YouTube account and I can't be arsed to set up a Twitch account. And on top of that, like, I already have a tiny YouTube audience. So I thought it made more sense for me to start this here, but I don't know. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. This is, you know what makes this technique so amazing is that you can move the paint a lot. That's rad. That's why this is so good. I've completely lost the border of this, by the way. So, yay! Go me! Yeah, I think it must have been somewhere around there. Right? Let's say that it was. Yes, and actually, like, that's a super interesting point that you bring up, Matt, because the press printing was for years very associated with the fact that Luther used it to print his kind of like manifesto. And that's what a lot of people knew the printing press to be used for. So it was a tool of political dissidence, which I find super interesting. Because it kind of like, I feel it's a little bit like blogs and like internet spaces. It's about when you democratize knowledge, how that all of a sudden changes how people think and provokes social change. Which is why I think that we have to, you know, make tools and spaces for more informal learning, because that's where the revolution is, in my opinion. I could be wrong, or I could be right. Who knows? Excellent. If YouTube is good for you guys, then YouTube it is. I just think that, you know, Twitch is like really full of people who do gaming streams, and I don't know that I feel at home with that. I know that they are like branching out, and there's a lot of all kinds of content now, but yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. Dun, dun, dun. This is going to be a very interesting sleeve because the light is very, very subtle. So yeah, I'm very interested to see how that technique fares. This technique, not that technique. Yeah, this is very, very interesting. Yeah. God, that is good. Yeah. I'm perpetually worried that I'm actually scrubbing this on my pants. Trousers, leggings, not underwear. I'm actually wearing pants. Leggings today. Thank you, Pam. Lovely to know that it works for you too. Yeah, let's get that good. Yeah. Yeah, but as I don't know if you can see it, I hope that you can. This bit of the, like, it's a lot of the darkness happens around here. Oh my god, I'm such an ass. I've forgotten that there's a pomegranate in the middle there. Well, we will have to blank that out later. Oops. Yeah, that happens. Pomegranates cannot be an afterthought. This technique is so much fun, by the way, because you're adding and removing and adding and removing, and it's a lot of fun. I think you guys really, really need to try it out, especially because, like I said, it's just one oil painting color. So regarding the tips and tricks to get into painting, if you want to get into painting, try an underpainting, into painting with oils, I mean. Try an underpainting because you only need one color. I think it teaches you a lot about the texture and malleability of the paint, and it's not a huge investment. Yeah, again, guys, if you really have to leave, please feel free to do so. I'm gonna continue to stream until I finish the underpainting, just because I think it's gonna make for better content than if I really want to have this process recorded too for myself to be able to review it later. But yeah, again, don't feel like you have to stay. I know that this is much longer than our usual streams. Again, maybe that's something to explore in the future, you know? Does this longer format work? It allows people to dip in and out in the morning. So maybe that works. Maybe that's something that works for you guys. Okay. I think that once I'm done with the chest area, I'm gonna have to move the canvas because I can't see the face. I know. Terrible news. Yeah, that works. Or does it? Yeah, sort of, maybe, kinda, in a way. Yeah. Let's say that it works. Shall we? Yeah. Now I really need to move these guys, so bear with me. And let me check that that still works for you lot. Yeah. Let's... Well, hopefully that still works for you guys. Let me know in the chat if it doesn't. So what we're doing right now is essentially the color, and I think it's really important that you treat colors right. It sounds a little bit stupid, but I think that a lot of what makes or breaks realistic portrait or any kind of like realistic photo drawing is that a lot of times when especially when we're treating this kind of color, we just essentially do a couple of triangles and call it a day because it kind of works, and I think that breaks the illusion of reality quite a bit. So I want to spend some time making sure that doesn't happen here. Excellent, good to know that it works. So yeah, that's why we are spending like a little bit more time. And also I'm staggering because I'm terrified of doing my face. So yeah, I'm gonna need a little bit more courage for that. Another thing, kind of like advice that I can give you guys is if you're working with a reference picture and you want to make sure that you're not going to get hung up or obsessed with a certain part, is don't zoom in. I'll probably zoom in again for the face because it's going to make my life a bit easier. But yeah, like you're trying, in general, you're not trying to make a perfect copy of an image, you're trying to catch the appearance of that image, so you don't need to obsess over it massively. Actually what I kind of want is something with a very fine tip here, so I can let's see if that works. I'm going to try and do the little jewelry thing. So what I'm trying to do is with a very fine, this is not a very fine brush, but it has a very fine tip. So that's what we're trying to do here. And again, let's do the chain. And when you're doing chains and things like that, I think it's very important that you look at the actual reference to make sure that you're laying them on the figure in the way that they are laying in actuality, because that makes or breaks a lot of your volumes. It's the same when you're when we were doing the draping for the figure. Same thing, make sure that you're looking at your reference so that you're draping that fabric on top of the figure instead of doing something weird with it. Excellent. Now, shall we move on to the very scary face? Let me just make sure that this has a good definition up here. I think it does. I think that works. Okay. Dun dun dun. Yeah, this is gonna be a bitch. Let's see. More brushes, because I think that we are going to need more finesse, if you know what I mean. In order to be able to actually do this. So I'm gonna start by defining the contours of the face a little with hair. I find that that really kind of like helps me anchor what I'm trying to do, whatever it is, because it gives me a sense of where it stops, essentially. Okay. Whew. Scary times we're living through, guys. This is going to be very minute work, by the way, because it's a face and it's tiny. What I'm going to try and do is find some of the more specular highlights. Like, I have a lot of highlighter on my blush, as I always do, because highlighter is pretty and it makes me happy. And I usually, my top lip has this kind of like almost outline to it in a way. So I'm gonna try and capture that. Another thing that I find really good for self-portraits is doing a lot of them. I know this sounds a little bit ridiculous, but it's like studies of your face. The more you study your face, the more intimate you become with it, the more you know how this structure works. So for example, I know a lot about the structure around my lip area, and I know that it's a little bit weird, so I'm trying to capture all those changes in volume and make sure that they make sense. And I hope that that makes sense to you guys. You know, something that I was just thinking about this. Something that I could have done to make my life a lot easier is I could have just edited the picture that I'm using and just kind of like use it in black and white, because that way it would have been a much easier process to interpret the value painting, because it would have essentially been done for me already. Yeah, that would have been smart, don't you? I'm such a dumbass sometimes. Yeah, that would have been a good idea. It did not happen, did it? So here we are. So again, what I'm trying to do is when I'm reintroducing more color is, and not only do I try to introduce it like I kind of like tap it in, I also try to, there's a word for this, blend it. I try to blend it. Thank you. To the, no, don't go away. Oh, there we go. Thanks to the Academy, but especially to my parents who clearly didn't send me to enough English lessons. Ooh, my stomach's getting rumbly. What are you guys gonna have for lunch? I have no idea what I'm gonna have for lunch actually. Maybe I've been trying this new fake bacon, vegan fake bacon, because I'm trying to reduce how much meat I eat. And yeah, it's super good. If I remember, I will put the link in the description below. Dude, it tastes amazing and it doesn't leave me as bloated, because I love bacon. But what happens with a lot of like animal fats on my body is that my mouth likes them, but my tummy hates them. So I spend a lot of time super bloated after I eat, and like I feel very slow in general. So I've been trying to figure out ways to counteract that, if you may. And I think that this fake bacon may be one of them. And I've been doing this pasta dish with this fake bacon and Alpro soya cream or something like that. And it's really good. And then I also put a shitload of cheese in it, which really makes it amazing. And probably it's what makes me feel slightly bloated afterwards. Not as if I was making actual carbonara with the egg and, you know, all that good stuff, but yeah, it gives me some of the satisfaction that carbonara brings to the table without making me feel like I can't eat for another 3 days. Which, it's a win in my book. So yeah, that's what I've been up to, culinarily speaking. Making disastrous carbonara that would be frowned upon any Italian who, you know, might come upon this. Yeah, I don't call it carbonara. It's like, yeah, cream and fake bacon pasta. Oh, I also put some, I have a lot of dry mushrooms. So yeah, my aunt, she sends me these care packages from Spain because she's amazing. And she doesn't want me to starve, and clearly there's no good food here in England, so she must keep me fed. If you know what I mean. So she sends me these wonderful care packages, and they're full of goodness. And every time she sends me wonderful Spanish mushrooms that are dried, so I can just use them whenever, and they don't expire in like years and years. They're amazing, honestly. You haven't lived until you've had dried Spanish mushrooms. That, I think this eyebrow was a little bit too much. I'll tell you that. I'll tell you that right now. Yeah, she needs to. Yeah, we need to take a chill pill. There we go. That's much better. Yeah, so I think the face is going nice places now. Yeah, she needs a little bit of, but not that much. Maybe a little bit more. Yeah, that works. That works better. Yeah. Oh, guys, we're getting there. I'm gonna have to redo these hands they're not great. What was I doing? Oh yeah. Yeah, so I think that the eye area might be a little bit of a challenge, but I also think it's sort of shaping up nicely. Sort of, maybe, kind of. Let's see. What I'm finding with this technique, and I find this with a lot of oil painting techniques in general, is that you find the drawing as you go along. You find the painting as you go along. There is a lot that happens in an oil painting that has to do with how the material reacts with the surface, and as Bob Ross would call them, the happy little accidents. And I think that is not something that would usually happen in a digital medium, if I'm being quite honest, which is why I like this so much, because it does a lot of the work for me. And we all know here that I'm a lazy bitch, so any work that I can have done for me, I'll take that. Thank you very much. Let's get a really, really thick, nice highlight for that here. Oh no, we're not having any of that, are we? Okay. I thought so too. And then we need some here. And I think in general we can just reveal that. And yeah, I'm really liking this, guys. Non-alcoholic beverage. I can't wait to see your painting, by the way, Matt. Tea. Not in... Okay, great. Bear with me. This is going to be interesting. Will I get my hair full of oil? Yes, I will. Sorry. I was saying tea. Any tea. Not because maybe it's my... Where's the brush I was looking for? Okay. Maybe not because it's like my favorite. So are we talking favorites, or which one do you drink more often? Because tea is the one I drink more often, for sure. Like all day, every day, I'm drinking tea. But lemonade, not the UK lemonade, the Spanish lemonade, which is made with lemons. So instead of being like 7-Up, is lemon juice with some kind of sweetener, and sometimes you can use mint leaves, so it's like a non-alcoholic mojito essentially. It's delicious. I can drink that forever, but it's a bitch to make, so I don't make it very often. Yeah, that's my actual favorite non-alcoholic beverage, but the non-alcoholic beverage that I drink more often is tea, because I don't like the taste of coffee, and I know that someone who does as many jobs as I do should probably be addicted to coffee, and I would probably find it very useful for my life, but I don't like it. So yeah, we don't do coffee here. Well, we, as if I live with a lot of people, I don't do coffee. Yeah. What's yours? What do you do when you're not drinking alcohol? When it's not a Friday? I also quite like, talking about teas, I've been drinking a lot of this heart tea, they call it. It has like hibiscus and all the nice flowers, and it's great. It tastes super well. It's super tasty, and I'm really happy with drinking it. I'm really happy with drinking it. It tastes really well. I also love chai tea, and I love tea, like lattes in general, not coffee lattes, like tea lattes. Earl Grey. Oh yeah, I'll make you lemonade when we see each other. I'll make you a lot of lemonade. Earl Grey, I like. In general, I like that here in England you have a lot of teas with milk because, like I said, I really like tea lattes. I feel like when I say tea latte, and it's tea lattes, instead of saying lattes, I'm saying lattes. So it's a lattice of teas. So yeah, that's in my brain now forever. Anyway, yeah, I like chai tea. I think that's probably my favorite tea. The one with like a lot of spices. That's the good stuff. But again, I don't mind other kinds of lattes, teas, stuff. Oh, sorry, my brain is really not working today. Hopefully you understood what I meant. Okay, let's see if we can finish these glasses and move on to the hat. I don't think you can see this because you don't get to see my whole iPad screen. But I took this with the iPhone's portrait mode, and it's so funny because the portrait mode decided that my glasses were part of the background. So the bit of my glasses that's not in my face, on my face, I mean, it's blurred. So yeah, well done iPhone. Well done you absolute star. Yeah, I think that should probably do. Maybe we take a little bit more white off there. And maybe we find a little bit more light here. And here. Yeah, that's good for the face. Let's do the ear. Because that needs doing. I always leave the ears for the end. I'm such a lazy cow. Ears are boring. Fight me. I mean, they are fascinating shape when you look at it from the biological and design point of view, but I fucking hate painting ears, and it shows. So, do as I say, not as I do, and don't leave the ears for the end. Because they will hate you, and when the ears hate you, you've got a problem. It's a little bit like the colors. It's this thing that you don't particularly like doing, but you have to do it, but you don't like doing it, so you leave it till the end, or you don't do it properly, and then it kind of like shows, it breaks the illusion of realism quite easily too. So yeah, take care of your ears, guys. Well, literally too, ears are important. You need to hear music and stuff. That's a weird ass ear, I'll tell you that. Yeah, I did that too big. Oops. But we're almost there, guys. We're almost there. I don't know where that came from. Okay, let's see. So she has just if this was not me. I have a little bit of her down here and then some. Yeah, we really need to think about this background, guys. Maybe leave suggestions on the chat of what should I do with the background. I was thinking some kind of like architectonical structure. But yeah, leave it in a comment down below if you're watching this later or in the chat, and I'll think of something. Cause yeah, I was thinking maybe the inside of a chapel or like the inside of the cathedral or something. Yeah. Exactly, this PSA about hearing is endorsed by a sound engineer. Listen to Matt, he knows what he's talking about. Yeah, well, you know what I mean about laziness. I like shortcuts. And as of today, I am doing no degrees because the MA is handed in and I didn't pick any subjects for my BA, so yoo-hoo! I'm really enjoying this freedom, guys. I don't know that I can go back to doing all the things at once. It's amazing. Is this what people feel like when they're on holiday? I swear to God, it's absolutely brilliant. Yeah, I think that's it. Let's review these hands a little bit though. And yes, that wasn't great. No, actually, I wonder if I can very, very lightly. Yeah, that's better. If I recover my stand / book, don't you dare, young man. Renaissance Renaissance bookshelves. Yeah, that would be a good one, maybe. Yeah, I think you should be able to see that more or less okay. Let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna do the hands and the pomegranate because that needs to happen. Because I think that the hands are going to be easier with these smaller brushes. I just, I find that hands are like a really important feature of realistic portraits and realism in general. They really, it shows when you haven't dedicated proper time to them. And to be quite honest, I haven't today, so let's deal with them a little. I want you gone. Oh, oh, fuck. I was trying to remove a line and it turns out that it's a pencil mark, so I won't be able to remove it up, on top of under the linseed oil. Oh well, such is life. We'll have to deal with that. Yeah, I like the idea of bookshelves. Maybe yeah, like Il Duomo, but make it a library or something like that. Yeah, that's slightly better. I'm not fully convinced. Let's see if I can get a bit more of a highlight. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's better. Now let's see what we can do for these little piggies who went to the market. So many pencils, so few hands. Pencils, brushes, Jesus Christ. Yeah, the grocery store. Okay, I'll have to think about that. Fruit market, maybe. A farmer's market, so that way everyone knows that the pomegranate is organic. I miss farmers markets. Yeah, that's one of the things that I miss. in this crazy world that we live in now. Yeah, this needs a few more highlights, like here. No, that's too much. There we go. That's just enough. I find that highlights have such power to define shapes and volumes, you know? It's just, if you place them right, they will do your work for you, essentially. But if you place them wrong, oh boy, you're fucked. I mean, you're fucked. You whatever it is you're doing, you very probably can correct it. But since highlights are usually kind of like the last thing that you do in a painting, more than likely you're gonna have to do some heavy work to correct it, whatever it is that you were trying to do. Yeah, I think I can probably live with that. Perhaps a little bit more definition here and a little bit more fleshiness here. Yeah. I don't know. That's better. Okay. Upper hand and we'll be done. Well, no, wait, we have to do the pomegranate. Upper hand and we'll be almost done. And y'all can go eat lunch. And I can go eat lunch. I'm fucking starving. Well, one disadvantage of this technique that I really have to mention, which I think shows in this live stream of however many hours we've been doing this, is that it is not a technique that you can let sit. So when you're sitting down to do an underpainting with a wiping out technique, you're really sitting, you have to sit down until it's done. I don't think there's a good way to come back to it later, So yeah, something to think about. One little finger done. Well, it's not actually the little finger, but it's a tiny finger, so that's what we're calling it. Yeah, what this needs is just a little bit more darkness here. Yeah, hell yeah, that's good. Yeah. Oh my god, that finger looks like a fucking sausage. Let's deal with that. Before we deal with that, let's deal with these. Hi Psycho, as you can see we are still here, so it's no problem to dip in and out. Yeah, I'm done with the face and I am now trying to get to a point with the hands where I can kind of like let it be and I don't feel too terrible about the way it looks. So that's what we're trying to reach here. Essentially right now we're working in the very important task of making this finger look like less of a sausage. Which, I think it's kind of been a successful endeavor. Okay, let's go for the little finger. Last one. let's see what we can get out of it. I feel like a lot of painting is very similar to applying makeup, which is why I think more women should paint, because if you apply, or guys who put makeup on themselves, because if you do makeup you can probably paint, you just don't know it yet. There's a lot of blending. You need to have a good blending technique. And it's you know, essentially painting is placing and blending. So you place a color and then you blend it, and then you place a color and then you blend it, and then you place a pigment and then you blend it, and you know, ad aeternum. So yeah. Don't let people make you think that painting is unapproachable. It's just a lot of hours. Like any craft, really. Just needs a little bit more paint. We get in there, guys. We're so close. Okay, that needs tidying up. And this needs tidying up. Layering is key. Yes, it is. All the layers, layers, layers. Put it all in thin layers. And Sego, if you're a painter, you can't be terrible at makeup. Maybe you're just not framing it right. I'll grant you, painting a face, slightly different than painting a canvas, because there's a lot of crevices and you have to do it on yourself, which is not easy. But yeah, I think that it's all about applying the same principles. Pretty much. I think we're done. No, fucking hell, the pomegranate. I keep forgetting, guys. Let me see if I can find a picture of the pomegranate here. Yes. Okay. This is going to be quick and dirty. Hope you enjoy it. Yeah, this is gonna be like very quick and not very impressive, so get ready for that. And I want to that's a pomegranate right there. Yeah, guys, let me look at this lady. I think she's done. I think the underpainting is done, guys. What do you think? Wait, let me do this properly. Let me see what I'm actually doing. Yeah. I'm trying to put it in the same angle as the phone, so you can actually see the thing. And that sweet, sweet pomegranate shot. Ta-da. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with this one. Yeah, Renaissance mage. Yeah, God, I wish I were a mage. Life would be easier, I think. Maybe not. But yeah, guys, that was our 2 fucking hour, 3 fucking hour stream, or however many hours we've spent here. Thank you so much for sticking with me and for coming to play today. I hope you enjoyed that. I really enjoyed talking to you guys in the chat. Again, please feel free to leave me a comment on what do you think we should make for the background, which I think we're probably going to underpaint the following session, so next week. If you have any friends that you think might enjoy these chill painting sessions on Saturdays, please let them know, because I'd love to have more people here. If you want to share your art with me, do so by tagging me at Kalashnikov, as it says everywhere, somewhere around down there, we'll say that. And hashtag Kalashnidols, as we've mentioned in the chat. We'd love to see your stuff. I'm really keen on that. Yeah, I think that's been all for today, guys. I really need to go and eat lunch because I'm fucking starving. So I hope you all have a lovely rest of the weekend. I hope that you rest well, and I hope that you continue painting a lot. If you do any underpaintings, please tag me and show me. It's been amazing to be in this journey with you guys and to discover this. So yeah, hope you have a lovely weekend and chat with you soon.